We want to take a moment to welcome everyone to the Watch This Shit podcast. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. My name is Seneca, the movie professor, and today I have my collaborator and cooperator here, Young Sam. Go ahead and introduce yourself, bruv.
Hey, it's Young Sam, aka the Movie Apprentice.
All right, dog, let's get it. With this podcast, we're going to give you the definitive decision on whether you should go view a new movie release or not. It's real easy. If we say, watch this shit, stop what you're doing, and enjoy some good cinema. If we say, don't watch this shit, avoid it as you would running into the ring to challenge a professional wrestler. Or don't. You can do what you want. It may be fun, or it may get your ass RKO'd. You want to listen to us? You put your life in your own hands. We had a real journey before we finally got to view today's film. Shit, and review it. It seemed like the world was fighting against us to stop us from seeing this shit. But we pressed through, didn't give up, and made it to the promised land. Let me tell you how great wrestling is. To this day, me and my homies still argue about the legitimacy of calling it a sport. Yes, we have the is it real or fake argument probably far more often than we should. They are really playing with semantics with the wording. The point is, this is not a true contest to determine which one of these motherfuckers could beat the other one in a fight. At the same time, it would be stupid for a person to see a 300-pound dude throw another 300-pound dude out of a ring and onto the floor and think that shit doesn't hurt. It's a balance. And I believe sports entertainment has walked that line well over the course of its history. I was a huge fan during the Attitude Era. The war between the big two wrestling promotions at that time produced some iconic matches. Things we still live by in pop culture zeitgeist today. They came from this time. You know, the movie icon Dwayne Johnson? He wouldn't be what he is without the wrestling renaissance. Most action movies and video games add high energy wrestling holds to ramp up the fighting styles of the characters. My favorite is seeing the tough guy character, a la Raphael, suplex a nigga on their head. So today, we have a movie that bridges the gap between cinema and the titans of the squared circle. We're going to review The Iron Claw, the move that helps the people who say wrestling is fake win the argument hands down. Pun intended. Young Sam, what side of the argument do you fall on, real or fake?
Oh, it's scripted. Like it's real, but it's also scripted. So I would say it's real fake.
Or fake real.
Yeah, you know, it's because like you say, you get thrown out of the ring. That hurts, but the predetermined outcome. I mean, in the other sport, that's you're fixing the game.
Exactly.
So,
That's good points. I think just like you said, real fake. I think the truth lies somewhere in the middle. That's why it's such a good discussion. All right, let's get into the story. This biopic deals with the acclaimed wrestling family, the Von Erichs. I have to take the tragic tale of the fate of their family serious because it is deadly sad. Fritz Von Erich, the patriarch of the family, had 6 sons. Before he passed away, 5 of them died. Imagine one of your children passing before you, but 5 of them? That is horrific. This movie chronicles the famed family's battle with the wrestling industry as well as the battle with what some would call the Von Erich curse. This movie attempts to give a joyous send-off for the family. Just don't think too long or it will surely depress you. Young Sam, did you hear how the stupid kids try to console their dad saying they'll be his brothers now?
Yeah, that was a little cheesy. That was a little cheesy line. I was like, that's weird, but
yeah, it's weird. Stupid kids. That's not how family relations work.
You can tell, like when the kids said it, they're like, "We'll be your family. We'll be your brothers now." It was like, they just didn't deliver it good.
Did not. Horrible child actors. Horrible. All right. Zac Efron is almost unrecognizable as Kevin Von Erich. He is, by way of the oldest son passing as a child, now the oldest brother of the group. As the last surviving member of the family, he is set as the film's most prominent protagonist. If you have seen Zach in any other films, Neighbors, High School Musical, the one about P.T. Barnum, the one about Baywatch,
Mm.
you know he has a slim to muscular build. Well, here he looks like the fucking Hulk. I don't know if they use prosthetics or CGI, but that dude looked like he has a face glued to his face. He does not look like himself. Maybe he was on them roids for real, because that's what would do it. Yeah, they don't shy away from it. They also don't necessarily call it out, but they show the bottles and needles out, and you can use your imagination to understand what it is that you're seeing. He doesn't do a bad job with the role, which calls on him to do a lot while still not painting Kevin in a bad light, because that motherfucker is still alive. I almost think, this is just me, that biopics should only be done after the target subject has passed away. Eminem did a whole movie about himself at the height of his popularity. If we are ever going to get a true story, it has to be after the person that lived isn't allowed to say, don't tell them that part. One spot that I could see as being real to life was the fact that he didn't have anyone to talk to about the pain that was inside of him until he met Pam, played by Lily James, who later became his wife. Lily is best known, at least by me, for her role in Baby Driver. Now that is a good ass movie. Put that on the list of movies we need to review. His father, Fritz, is one of the old guard. If you're a man, be a man. That means no discussing your feelings, and you damn sure can't cry. That was a harsh reality to live by. The reason I know it was harsh is because I had to live it. My entire life, I would be physically disgusted by seeing a man cry on TV. That's what I was taught. It's not easy unlearning some of these bad habits, but if you knew better, you do better. Young Sam, do you really believe Kevin was as clean cut as this story makes him out to be?
Oh, no. I mean, they definitely. I mean, I feel like this more was a Kevin. I mean, since he's only surviving one, then yeah, he's the only one that can tell the story. So he kind of probably painted the picture as he's, clean cut, but in all reality, he could have been just as fucked up as his dad, but we'll never know. So
He probably is. He probably is.
yeah.
This movie plays him really dumb and innocent. It made him endearing, but honestly, coming out of a house that holds football, wrestling, guns, and Jesus in high regard, you have to learn a lot of the ways of the world, which he seemed completely oblivious to. Now, his brothers, these motherfuckers was on go from the time they hit the scene. Especially Carrie, played by Lil Homie from The Bear, Jeremy Allen White. I don't believe in curses, but if I did, he needs to be careful. His last two roles both saw him dealing with untimely passings of brothers. With his character and the younger brother Mike, you get to see a lot more of the drugs and alcohol side of the business. These are people that tear their bodies apart night after night for the entertainment of others. How could they not want release from the pain that lifestyle would cause you? Anyone that has had to endure any injury for just a moment understands. Imagine you hit your toe on a hard surface and that feeling stuck with you constantly for weeks. You would try anything to make it go away, up to and including all the drugs. David, which you could arguably be considered the most talented of the brood, passed away tragically overseas while running a program with Ric Flair for the championship belt. For all of those that have seen the Vice episode that delved into the story of this family, these references to the real story are good at giving the highlights of the tragedy that plagued these men. Carrie and Mike, that I discussed a moment ago, along with Chris, whom was omitted completely from the film, all died via suicide. The oldest died as a child. Most writers in show business aren't creative enough to write a story like this. This shit has to be real. Sam, we talked about it a little after we saw the film, but I want you to educate the historians in our audience on why Chris was left out of the film.
Yeah, I read this article that the movie studio who created the movie A24, they said that they left him out because they didn't think the film could survive another death. And I agree. I mean, this movie was depressing, very just sad, just gosh dang. So I had to go see Poor Things after.
That's a good palate cleanser. For real. That's a good one. You made a good choice. Yeah, that was good. Love A24. Damn, you had an A24 double feat. No, that was Fox Searchlight. Poor Things was Fox Searchlight. But is it Searchlight now? But it's in the same style as the A24 film.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. There were times when this tactic they used, it worked, right? But I think they used the trick much too often. I'm talking about the tight camera angles for the wrestling matches. The camera was too close in the ring with the grapplers, and so close it was hard to see anything except pasty bodies smashing into each other. I get it. It worked for getting the audience into the mindset of the pugilist, but it should have been tempered. We also want to see the moves, the hip drops, scoop slams, clothesline. That's what makes wrestling great. These guys were able to tell a story with their bodies. People cheering when their favorite babyface makes a comeback, or leering when the heel hits a low blow behind the referee's back. Can we please see what the hell is going on? It's not that hard. They did 80-20, but they should have flipped it the other way. 80 wide angle, 20 tight. Young Sam, what did you think of the camera work, the cinematography, as it were?
Now that I think about it, I think they probably did those tight angles because doing some of those moves you can get seriously hurt. So they probably either the actors were probably doing a lot of their stuff, and so they were like, let's tighten this camera angle and make sure that it's perceived that these moves are real. Because I think if you take a wide angle back, you get to see everything, and then you can kind of see, oh well, this person didn't do this move right. So they probably just tighten that camera angle just to limit some errors of novices doing professional moves. But some other camera angles were very, very well. Like the one camera angle, they were staring at the rope, and they had Zac Efron's character, running back and forth on the ropes, and you can just see they were like kind of really close to it. I thought it was a really cool camera angle because you just see him just bouncing back and forth and the rope moving. Very well camera angle. But I think the cinematography and everything was good. I didn't have any complaints.
Yeah, that scene that you were talking about was amazing. Yeah, they were under the bottom rope, staring like as if they were from ringside, and he was just running back and forth, hitting it, boom, 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 and you see his feet, you see his steps. That was great. But I'm saying the rest of the time they should have backed up, and I think it would have been okay, even if there were imperfections. Wrestling has imperfections all the time. People flub moves. It's a whole thing on YouTube. There's a channel called Botchamania, and it shows all the wrestlers that miss their spots. It's amazing. It's great. That's a whole thing. But there is another part of this movie that is way worse than the camera work in the wrestling matches. That Ric Flair impersonator, he needs to be shown the door out of Hollywood and never let in again. It had to be the worst rendition of his signature "stay all night, stay a little longer" speeches that I've ever heard in my life. And I've seen Sean Waltman, the 1-2-3 Kid six-pack, do a mockery of the man. If you can't get it right with an actor, just play the old footage. I would have been okay with that. Then just disguise the guy in the ring as if to look like him for the fights. I mean, it was bad. When Ric Flair sees this shit, he's going to act a fool. The limousine riding, wine and dine, Learjet flying, 16-time heavyweight champion of the world. Don't ever disrespect the classic like that. Boo this man. Sam, what's his name?
Oh, I don't know what the fuck.
It doesn't matter what his name is. This motherfucker is trash. I'm about to get in my wrestling bag on this nigga. Oh, sorry. Didn't know we couldn't say that on TV. What we set up here was much more entertaining than that pencil neck geek put on screen. I'm stunned that people gave that scene a thumbs up. Young Sam,
They did?
explain. They had to give it a thumbs up in order for it to be in the movie. That's what I mean. I'm not talking about the audience. I'm talking about
Okay.
the filmmakers, the director, the writer, the actors, the people that watched it, the people that edited. They saw this shit and thought it was okay. Young Sam, explain to the people how bad this guy was pretending to be the Nature Boy was.
Oh, it was horrible. Like if you can think of somebody doing Ric Flair and then just think about it 10 times worse. Because it just the mannerisms just was not there. The I'm trying to remember, did he try to hit a woo? But I think he did, and it just was like, this is where the movie missed the mark. For me, because well, probably for everybody else, because that Ric Flair was just horrible.
They could have cut that whole shit out, and it would have been a better movie. It would have been a better movie. This film has some inconsistencies with reality in order to make the story work for film, I guess. But one thing that they were not inconsistent on was the voice of Fritz von Erich. Holt McCallany played the father of the family, and if you close your eyes after watching one of the real person's interviews, you would not be able to tell them apart. He is one for one audio-wise with the elder Von Erich. They touched on the story of the name change a bit, but never really delved into the history of why it was cursed or why they thought it was cursed. And they damn sure didn't delve into the story of Von Erich's first character in wrestling. Fritz von Erich, the Iron Claw, started his career in character as a Nazi. He would come to the ring and put down the audience to gain heat. He was full heel. The movie skipped conveniently right past that shit, and for good reason. There were a lot of bad gimmicks back then, but that was part of the business. You make a character that you know people are going to hate, and you can easily get over and gain notoriety from the fans. This wasn't the PC era of wrestling that we live in now. They could do what they want. Cutting, roids, backstage burying, it was all fair game. That's what made it fun. Another thing this movie got right, for sure, was putting Chavo Guerrero Jr. in as the Sheik. Great casting and respect to the icons of the sport. Entertainment. Young Sam, how did you feel about Fritz's portrayal here, and did you know about that Nazi reference?
No, like I hearing it real time, I was like, ooh.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, it was a different time back then. I wonder when can we stop using that excuse?
I don't know.
But yeah, so I wasn't really as familiar with these with the Von Erichs. I started watching wrestling during the Attitude Era, so I don't really remember anybody past probably
the whole.
I remember like Junkyard Dog.
Okay.
I think that's the earliest wrestler that I can remember. And so like what you just said, like the whole Nazi thing was like, that's new to me. I didn't know. But so I can't really speak on like, oh, I think he portrayed it that well. I don't fucking know his dad.
Yeah, they try to bury that. That's one of those things. You're not gonna find it on the WWE website, right? You're not gonna find it the old matches, but it's on YouTube.
Oh, okay. YouTube got the tea.
Yeah, they do. They keep it popping. The other thing that I want to talk about before we move to final verdict, I alluded to it in the opening about the Iron Claw being the winning argument for why wrestling's fake. So you're gonna tell me you're gonna put your hand on somebody's head and you're so strong that you can hold a grown man down on the mat for a count of 3. Fuck out of here.
I mean, it's the pressure.
That's what it is. Not anything you want to say before we close it up?
No. I think this was a good biopic. If you're a fan of wrestling, it's something you should probably add to the collection. And if you like A24 movies, yeah, definitely go see it. But if you're just somebody that's like, oh, I think I want to see this, be wary. It is depressing. It'll have you like, damn, do I really want to watch the rest of this? So, but yeah, watch it.
Okay.
At your own risk.
At your own risk. Yeah, I like that. Final verdict, watch this shit. This film gives you an entertaining look into the life of one of the most tragic tales in wrestling. They don't shy away from it. There are some bright spots, but it's mostly a lot of sadness. Excuse me. For those that love the bygone era of sports entertainment, just like Sam said, if you're a wrestling fan, this is a must-see. You got to see it. Casuals, yeah, be a little leery, but I believe that you will have a good time as well because it's a well put together film. It deals with family, it deals with loss, it deals with all the America, right? Fuck yeah. My only hope is that when they finally do the Ric Flair story, and he isn't as sunny as you would think. He has some issues too. His son tragically passed away. As long as they don't call back this horrible actor to reprise the role, get this motherfucker out of here. I don't ever want to see him again. He's done. Finished. Finito. Hate that dude.
Damn. What else has he been in?
I really don't know his name. I really don't know his name. I looked it up maybe a week or two ago, but I forgot him since then because I hate him.
All right.
Put him on the list with Shailene Woodley and Pete Davidson.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's serious. That serious.
All right.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Watch This Shit. You come here for the realest take on new movies. So make sure you follow us so you're not left in the dark on whether you should check out a new movie or not. If you haven't seen this shit yet, what the fuck are you waiting for? We told you what to do. Now it's up to you to go do it. Check us out next time when we review Pokemon Concierge. And good day to you.